Good evening. The open meeting of the Town of Auburn Board of Health is being operated as a hybrid or remote format under Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join in the meeting remotely by telephone 224-501-3412 and access code 236-529-341, or the public can join via computer on the town's website. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of the body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. As a preliminary matter, my name is Eric Otteson, Chairman of the Board of Health. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda participating remotely are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Kara Westerman?
Affirmative.
And Carolyn Westerman.
Carolyn Griffin is.
I'm sorry, Carolyn Griffin, sorry. Town officials and employees participating, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tim Pratt?
Here.
Jordan Brusso?
Here.
Darlene Coyle?
Here.
Amy Contois?
Here.
Excellent. All votes this evening will be conducted via a roll call vote, and the meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. Are there any participants participating remotely? Seeing none, I will call the meeting to order. Let's pull up my agenda here. So first on the agenda, we're not adding or removing anything, correct? We're just going to add what you talked about as far as the new clerk.
Yes,
And
and,
then-
yep.
Yep, and then we'll move to approving the minutes.
Okay.
So first ones we have are January 4th, 2004.
I think, this
it's
one
November.
is
November 4th, 2004. Jeez,
Yep,
Sorry.
cleaning up, 24.
Okay.
I didn't have any concerns.
No.
with that.
Make a motion.
I think, for this, we have, Kara, you're on the February minutes. not
So,
the
only-
November.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for November 4th, 2024.
And I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Eric Otteson? Aye.
Carolyn Griffin? Aye.
And the ayes have it?
You can't vote on
Yeah,
this.
you can't vote on
I
this.
wasn't on that one either.
But she can abstain.
Oh, you can abstain. If you want to abstain, you, yeah.
Abstain on that one.
Thank you.
Good. All right. And the next one is April 20,
We have it?
nope, I'm sorry.
February 10th,
February 10th.
2025.
Yep.
What am I looking at here?
Here we go.
Because I'm looking at that.
February 10th, right here. 2025.
Yeah,
And this is totally different here.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
the
different
the
minutes.
draft of
Okay.
the minutes, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think this one right here.
Gotcha. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We have someone who just came on.
Is that Joan?
There was John.
Yes. So that is Joan Hamlet.
Oh, okay.
If we can, Joan, is that you?
Yes,
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us. Joan is from the Western Collaborative
Oh.
for Tobacco.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry, Lemon Star.
All right, and we will, so February 10th, 2025, those minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make motion to accept the minutes from February 10th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman,
Aye.
Griffin,
Aye.
and Eric Otteson, aye.
Thank you.
Yes. And then agenda items. Next, we have a hearing at 6 o'clock for a tobacco violation appeal at 310 Washington Street. So those who are involved in the hearing, are you all in the front here?
yes.
Okay, so let me just pull this up. All right. Good.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open the hearing for the tobacco violation appeal at 310 Washington Street, TNZ Inc. at 6:06 PM. All those in favor?
I'll second that.
Carolyn Griffin?
I'll get it right.
Kara Listerman
Aye.
and Eric Otteson, aye. The hearing is now open.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we have a hearing appeal for 310 Washington Street. We recently had our tobacco collaborative team. They handle all of the tobacco compliance for us, including compliance inspections, in the making sure that all of the state requirements for tobacco retailers are met. And recently, there were some inspections done in the town of Auburn. We have our tobacco inspector here, and then we also have the tobacco director for Joan Hamlet with the Leominster Tobacco Collaborative. So if I could introduce our tobacco inspector, if you want to just join us at the table, please, Jody.
And we do have one more party who's joined us online here. And Joan, thank you for turning your camera on. Saeed Tahir.
Yes, I'm online.
Okay, excellent.
I am
You're here for the cemetery. Thank you. Yep,
the
you're here for the
cemetery
cemetery. We'll call you when we're ready. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. All right. And I'm sorry, your name again?
My name is Jody Brigant.
Jody. Excellent. Thanks. Well, thank you for coming. And
I'm just going to maybe swear everybody in.
oh, okay, sure. So if you wouldn't mind, would you mind raising your right hand? Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
So help you God? You
Yep.
do? All right. And then the floor is yours.
So on January 14th, 2025, an inspection was conducted by the Boards of Tobacco Control Alliance on behalf of the Auburn Health Department. And TZN Inc. Shell violated the state law entitled An Act to Modernize Tobacco Control. And it was a failure to comply with the requirement of coupon redemption. This would be the second violation for this establishment, and it comes with a $2,000 fine and a 7-day permit suspension.
So the board was given, were you the one who did the?
I did the inspection
You did
and
the
the,
inspection.
and the violation was prepared by Joan Hamlet, our director.
Okay. So you were the one.
I did the
who
violation packet.
I'm sorry? Joan?
I did the violation packet, the violation
Violation.
summary packet.
Okay.
And I have these.
Okay. And you were the one, so you were the one that went in and
I was,
purchased?
yes.
Okay. All right. So, and I believe the owner is here as well. Did you want to come up as well? And,
He's going to speak first.
okay. Who are you, sir?
I'm Ben Brooks. I work for Nuri Energy. We help Ziad with his store.
Okay.
We're consultants. He's a dealer of ours. So,
So I will swear both of you in at the
Sure.
same time. If you mind, raise your right hand. And do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So, any questions from the board at all? So as I understand it, it wasn't an underage sale.
No, it was not.
It was not an underage sale. This is something with a coupon.
Correct.
Okay. Now, this is new to me. I don't understand anything with the coupon. So could you explain
Sure,
the
if you
coupon?
look on your violation, it will show on,
It's your packets.
So, do you mind if I just give a little prefix on what's in our packets?
Sure.
So, in your packets that were emailed to you is the appeal letter from the business owner with the violation letter that was sent out February 7th. And then today, the Tobacco Coalition submitted additional paperwork for education and signage that was given to the businesses, that we can give additional paperwork to you. So it's right behind the notice for the hearing. It's going to be the packet that was emailed. And then we're handing out additional information that's evidentiary.
Gotcha.
I gave 4 for 10.
I guess I would say, thank you very much.
So what Jody is now explaining is going to be on the second page where Ziad, TNZ Inc. submitted their appeal letter. It's going to be the second page. That is the violation letter.
From the original packet.
The original pack. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So do you have the violation? So the violation
Yeah.
shows what the violation is. And then it also, in the little box, talks about additional violations, which there were none. And it talks about the previous history of the store. And it shows that on 9/6/2024, there was a violation for selling a tobacco product to a person under the minimum legal sales age, which comes with a $1,000 fine
Yep.
and a 3-day suspension. And that's why this violation on this retail education visit would be their second violation, $2,000 fine and a 7-day permit suspension.
Okay.
And then on after the violation order, you would have the post sheet, we call it, this is the sheet where it records in real time what is happening in the inspection.
Okay.
Okay, so it shows that I take pictures of everything. And so during the inspection, after we went over our retail education, and as I was inspecting the store, on the rack were packs of Marlboro Black with a $1 off coupon on the top. And sitting next to it was the same product without that coupon attached. So the protocol is that we ask the retailer to ring up both products. One product rang in at $13.40. That would be the product without the coupon. And the product with the coupon rang in at $1.67. So it took actually,
$1.67?
I mean, I'm sorry, $11.67.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah.
another violation altogether.
So this coupon, just so I'm understanding it correctly, is physically on the pack of cigarettes?
Yes.
Okay. Who puts that there?
It is attached to the cellophane on the product.
So it comes
Stamped
from
on
the
the
manufacturer
package.
Correct.
with that?
I can explain a little bit of the context there.
Okay, sure.
So-
Yeah, this is, yeah, please.
Massachusetts, since, I don't know, probably the early 90s, has had cigarette pricing is mandated by the Department of Revenue in Massachusetts. There's a formula that they use, I don't fully understand it, but it starts with the cost into the wholesalers. All of the wholesalers are registered with the state. They apply a minimum markup to the retailers. And then there is a minimum markup on top of the cost that the retailer then needs to charge the consumer. That's all driven off the invoice cost, right? So it was common practice prior to the 2020 Flavor Act to Modernize. I don't know if the coupon law was in the previous Massachusetts laws at that time or not, or if it was added in at that time, but it's always been common practice in Massachusetts for tobacco companies to create a product which is the exact same product as the full revenue kind of everyday item that they sell to retailers. And then they have what they call an off-invoice trade discount on the invoices. So they're selling it into the wholesalers for less. Then the wholesalers are passing that discount on to the retailers. And then the state minimum pricing formula applies to that invoice cost. This has been going on for a very long time in Massachusetts. And so it's the really important part is that these are not products that can be ordered by retailers. Meaning, if I run a store, I can't call my wholesaler or submit an order for that $1 off or 50-cent off product, right? It's completely controlled by the tobacco companies. And as part of the contracts that we have with those, it's in the language that you have to take them, right? It's just part of it. And outside of Massachusetts, it's even bigger business. But it's a point of contention because a lot of times we don't want that product. Oftentimes we're being forced to take inventory that we don't even want. For example, this product was invoiced, I have the invoice in July, and it's still there, right? Comes 10 in a pack. This isn't something that Ziyad is using to make money, right? He didn't order it, he didn't ask for it, it was in the store. And So when I read the coupon law, it's accept or redeem, accept or redeem. There's nothing really being accepted or redeemed. We're paying less for the product from the wholesaler and then marking it up accordingly with the state minimum Department of Revenue guidelines that they post on their Department of Revenue website. Now, if there's a different interpretation as was notified, that did happen, right? And CED was notified, right, of the, and I don't know if it's just, it seems to me, we have 87 stores in Massachusetts, and we're not seeing the same interpretation everywhere of that couponing section. Now, other towns have created above and beyond language for that coupon law, and it's very, very clear that you can't do that. In this case, Auburn doesn't have an above and beyond in the coupon section, so it defaults to the state. I don't think I think Ziad totally would have just, he didn't care if he sells them or not. It wasn't like
Right.
a sales driving tactic for him to have these on the shelf. And even if he didn't have the previous violation, $1,000 fine and 3-day suspension is pretty steep for a product that was forced to him, that he had no control over, that it was sent to him. Core-Mark Fortune 200 company and Altria Fortune 200 company both interpret the law as this practice being legal. But ultimately, we'll do whatever you'll do whatever they tell you to do, right? Like, it's not worth it, but
And there's no filled coupon. This is
Yeah,
stamp
yeah.
enter the plastic.
Yeah.
From the
Coming from the manufacturer, we cannot peel it.
I was just gonna say that, you can't, it's
Yeah,
not
you
like
cannot.
you'd have to remove the whole
there's
cellophane
not a big
from
sign
it.
that says dollar
And
off.
this
Just one at a time.
Yeah, I know, I would just, okay. So you have the floor, Ziad, go ahead.
Yes.
So,
It's not like peeling, this all under the plastic, it's coming stamp. It's not regular coupon. Regular coupon mean you peel it and you put it and you turn it to the state, like candy coupon, like, groceries coupon. But it's not coupon to return it to the state to get your money. This is stamp on it.
okay.
And only few, how many packs we have, like 10 packs, 6 packs? And I took it out in front of her when she told me, and I threw out in the garbage because we cannot return tobacco.
Correct. That's the
We cannot return, so I took it, I put it in the garbage.
Okay,
In front of her when she's there next to me.
okay. Joan, go ahead.
Can I just respond? I just want to clarify. DOR pricing has nothing to do with this state law violation. DOR has a minimum pricing on cigarettes. There's a formula that's absolutely correct. And what happens with this is a discount. The state law says you must meet state law DOR minimum pricing. That's something different. What this says is you can never advertise your tobacco for sale. You can reset your retail minimum price. I'm going to charge $10 this month. Next month, I'm going to charge $11. You can raise and lower your minimum regular retail price, but what you cannot do is offer and advertise to customers a sale that if you buy this pack, you pay full price. If you buy this pack, you get $1 off. So the advertising of the $1 off and provide the violation is when it rings through the register and that $1 off is passed on. The retailer violates when they pass that manufacturer $1 off on to the customer. And the couponing has been, and discounts have been on the books for years, at least, I want to say 15 years. And the 2020 law added vape to that and a couple other things that just, what they did is they raised the fines. The fines for that used to be $100 to $300, but now it's $1,000 to $5,000. So you've never been able to offer a sale on coupon for years. So it doesn't need to be in your regulation, and lots of boards adopt the state law and drop it into their regulation, and then it's in their regulation. So I think it's getting confusing about talking about DOR pricing. And then I can't speak because I am not a retailer, but we've had multiple retailers tell us that when they get the packaging that says $1 off, they contact the distributor and say that I can't have this, it's against the law, and they get it, they can order it without that $1 off. It's not mandatory for us because we've had retailers, multiple retailers tell us that they were able to return it. If you open it and put it on your shelves, a distributor may not take it back, but you can say this. And we do enforcement for 46 communities. We're the tobacco agent for 46 communities, and we have approximately we've written close to 30 violations on the couponing this fall after we did the education with each retailer. And we've had approximately 19 hearings in multiple different communities. And we've moved forward with this violation. It's not new, it's not different. These other boards don't have special language in their regs either. I do have several boards that adopted the state law into their local reg when they upgraded their reg, but this order is not written on a local reg. The order is written specifically on the state law. And I'd like to draw your attention to your packet. We provided this education to all Auburn retailers in August 13th, 2024. We hand delivered the packet to each retailer, and it was delivered and signed at this store. This is Route 20, Route 20 Shell.
Yep.
It was delivered at this store on 8/13, and it was signed by William G. And we have a signature sheet there to show you that this information, it's especially titled, and it's a 1-page. It specifically talks about coupons, because coupons isn't new, but what's new in the past 13 months or so, all of a sudden they're cropping up all over the place. So we took the extra step to provide the education with this 1 page that everybody signed for as part of the new packet. And before we did any store visits, this was just a packet information drop off where they could read it, call us if they had any questions. And it specifically goes over, I have it called up on my computer, so that's why I'm looking to the left. But it says prohibition on coupons. It highlights all the important pieces. And then it says this includes the form of discount that occurs at point of purchase that makes the product less than regular retail price. This includes discounts that are often 50 cents or $1 that are marked on the packaging. This discount is just, if this discount is discovered, it results in a violation. So we provided that education, and then we emailed it to everybody we had an email address for, and then we mailed it to everybody who we didn't have an email address to for the address that they had on their permit. And we did this for 478 retailers in all 46 of our communities. So we did 3 points of education, and, 2 additional, well, 1, because they would have either got the email or the mailing. So 2 points of education, 1 in person and 1 by email or mail, back in August of 2024. Then we said, okay, everybody has education, whatever we find in our annual retail ed. And annual retail ed is assigned out certain months, so we didn't do everybody at once. But when we got to Auburn, this is what we found.
Okay.
And I just wanted to clarify that, if you have it stamped on the package, you have it under the cellophane, in the cellophane, you have a paper cardboard sign, you have a coupon, a tear off the package coupon, any type of statement or poster, because as you can see in the definition of coupon, it says any card, paper, note, form, statement, ticket, or other communication. In today's times, people don't cut out a Sunday paper coupon and bring it in and redeem it. It's done by rewards programs, QERs. It's done, I have an online coupon, scan my phone. So this was meant to capture any type of discount. This is a product that causes serious harm effects when used as directed. So the state law doesn't want anybody perceiving and getting it on sale. So it's the advertisement of the $1 off on the packaging, and then the surrendering it. And we did provide the education to retailers that this was coming. The first few years of since the law passed in 2020, we were not seeing coupons. It's only been the last, I would say, 13 to 15 months that coupons have slowly creeped back in, and then they popped up everywhere on nicotine pouches and these dollar packages. It may have been a way that the manufacturer company was calling it a promotion and sending it to them directly to try to skirt the Massachusetts coupon law, but we provided the education to retailers to let them know that they couldn't have these packages in their store.
So again, I'm slowly working through this coupon thing and trying to figure out what exactly this violation is. So let's say I'm a smoker, I want this pack of Marlboro cigarettes. I don't have access to it, it's behind the counter, correct?
You can see the packages when you, as the customer is looking at the rack of cigarettes, you can see the pack of Marlboro Black with a coupon on it, and you can see a regular pack of Marlboro Black without the coupon.
Okay.
You're going to request the one with the $1 off.
Is that visible? Was there
Yes.
an advert? Do we have a picture of that?
I don't believe that I do.
I think you have a picture that shows the package of the cigarette, with the $1 off and the ones without, or do you just have it in the?
You're looking for a picture of the rack.
Of the rack.
Right. I don't believe that I do, but I will look.
We do have a picture of the cigarettes where it says right on it, $1 off.
In the violation letter. That was
I did see that.
Can I ask a clarifying?
Please.
Joan, just again, to Eric's point, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So is it against the law in Massachusetts for coupons on tobacco items?
On tobacco and vape items, you can't offer any discount of any kind that makes the product below the normal regular retail price, but a retailer can change the regular retail price on a regular basis. So that means you can't have one in your store at $13 and another one with $1 off at $12 at any time. They all have to be the same price. And you can't advertise a discount to the customer.
Okay.
And if we, Jody can tell you this and speak to this. If we come in and we see a promotion that says buy two, get $2 off, and it doesn't ring in the register, we give them a warning and tell them remove the advertising and you get a warning. They only get the violation for the coupon if it shows the discount being passed on to the customer in their register.
Thank you.
Because you obviously can't offer a discount that you're not giving. That violates the law as well.
No, sure.
Joan, this is Darlene. I think, can you speak to the vendors that sell the cigarettes to our retailers? Because I think I have spoken with several retailers that have received these violations, and it's my understanding in speaking with them that at least for this kind of realm for the coupon, that they are getting the product from the vendor where they're ordering whatever, 20 cases of Marlboro, 20 cases of Newports, and then they've got all these other ones. And I guess to the, I'm sorry, yes, sir. Ben.
Yeah.
To Ben's point, it's coming, like, it's being sent to the retailers with the coupon, I guess, on the cellophane, so they're not adhering it, but is there a way that, I guess, is it intentionally going to retailers?
Yes.
And is there a way that these retailers might be able to identify to the vendor, hey, we're in Massachusetts and they are very strict about certain laws and we know that we absolutely can't sell these. So if you're gonna sell these, send them to a different state. But we can't have them here because I guess that's what I have heard from our retailers.
Right, I can speak to those concerns. The distributor, when they're violating Mass state law, there is a legal tobacco product portal on the Department of Public Health, and there's also an Attorney General's. This state law is specific to the retailers, and the state law says the retailer is responsible, not the distributor. There's no liability in the distributor on the Board of Health end if it rings through their register and they pass it on to their customer. We educate them about this law, and we've had signed packets with Auburn since 2020. I provided the signature sheets with the titles on the top of the type of education and documents we provided. So they've all been educated that it's retailer responsibility. If a distributor sends you a product that is flavored and it doesn't have a Mass letter and you put it on your shelves, the distributor does not get that fine. The retailer gets it. If you put a coupon out, your distributor says, hey, here's a special that the manufacturer is running. It's your responsibility not to put it on your shelves. The owner or manager is supposed to be the gateway to make sure that none of these mistakes happen on their shelves. And an example would be, we had a retailer in Groton that ordered multiple cartons of cigarettes and it came with $1 off. He read his education packet and said, oh, wait a minute, I don't think I can have these. And he called his distributor and said, I can't have these. He called me to confirm it, and the distributor came back and replaced it with ones that didn't have $1 off. So that's a retailer in Groton that contacted us about it because he's like, hey, this is offering a discount. I have education that says I can't do that in Mass. We did have people that ordered ordered it with $1 off, and what they chose to do is put a sticker on the $1 off, and they put up a sign on their store that says, we cannot offer the discount on Winston, the $1 discount on the Winston, it's not allowed in Massachusetts. And then it did ring in on the register, because they felt like they had already opened their product and what was on the shelves. Distributors won't take back stuff that's already open, so they could return like cartons of cigarettes that weren't open, but the ones were on the shelf. So that's what you can do you put a sticker on it so no one can see the discount, and you have a sign on your wall that says, this location can't offer due to Mass state law the $1 discount. We would never give a violation if people are doing those components, and that's part of the education when we're doing our retail in-person visits face to face. When we come across this. But this isn't new. This has been the way it's been for years. It's just all of a sudden the coupons have cropped back in out of the blue in the last like 13 to 15 months. But it really popped out like maybe like 6 months ago. So we did spring education, we did August education, and now we're moving forward with the violations.
Okay, thank you.
So
Ms. Weston, did you have more questions?
I do. Now, had there been a sign there that said, we do not allow that, the discount or the coupon, would that have avoided the violation?
Yes, and if it didn't ring in the register, it would have only been an advertising sign warning. But it rang through the register, which means they pass it on through to their customer.
Okay.
And he said that they passed it on to their customer because he feels that it was forced by the manufacturer. But I can't speak to individual retailers' relationships with their manufacturer, but for the state law and the retail regs, the retailer, it's their responsibility to make sure that they don't have any violations, regardless of what a distributor or a manufacturer tells them.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
intention.
And we documented that we provided the education that they can't, and we specifically highlighted that violation because we were seeing more of those. So you can see in bold print, and we highlight it in yellow for them, that we specifically highlighted that, and that's an educational talking point in person because that's the one that we were seeing the most.
Okay.
And we, in the spring, we gave everybody warnings, did the education, so everybody had the education. So when we did this year's annual inspections,
Okay. We have another.
I just had a quick question.
I didn't-
Just when you do the education, do you do the education with the owner, or I see the store employee's name here, or is it just whoever happens to be on duty?
we always ask for the owner manager to be present, and then we ask if the clerk wants to call the manager on the phone. Often the manager or owner gets on the phone if the manager isn't there, but the inspections aren't announced, so they are done with, whoever we encounter at that time.
Right.
And I think the 2000, one of the packets, we have them all back, but most of the managers have signed for the packets over the years, but this particular one, William was the cashier.
Yeah.
But he signed that he received the packet for the store. We also emailed it, and if they didn't have an email that was valid or it came back undeliverable, we mailed it in the mail. But, we didn't write down a date, we put it in the mail.
No, I just want to state that, the intention of the manufacturers is to sell this for $1 less. I don't think we can sell something that says $1 off pre-printed on the package. We don't actually sell it for $1 off, right? Otherwise, you're false advertising and probably violating some other, if I sold a Snickers bar that said $1 off on it, and it wasn't actually $1 off than my normal retail, that would probably be a violation of a.
And plus we have
Advertising.
our signs say.
So I'm just saying what the tobacco,
signs.
all I'm explaining is what the tobacco company's intention is. And then I used to work for Core-Mark for many years. And we've been shipping, $1 off, 50 cent off product, into Massachusetts for a very long time. And it wasn't until recently that that coupon law was, to my knowledge, interpreted to apply to that. We always interpreted it as a coupon, whether digital or physical, that was redeemed by the customer. And now it's interpreted as this.
So I've heard that education was given multiple times. What I'm struggling with this here is that these these packs of cigarettes are being forced to the retailer.
Correct.
They're not.
Yes.
It-
Yes.
They're not.
Yeah, we
You're
don't,
absolutely right.
we do not get notification, they
We
force
never
them
get
to us.
nothing.
This is an invoice, right, where it says plus out right here. That means it's forced. Cormark's not even doing it, right? Cormark's our distributor. So the orders get force shipped to Cormark with a customer list. And then Cormark forces that specific product, has a different UPC, out to the list that Philip Morris, R.J. Reynolds, the tobacco companies have selected for that product. And it's not product that we can choose to order. The only way we get it is if it's forced to us.
Okay, so you order the Marlboro cigarettes, the
Yes.
brand,
Yep.
and what they send you is what you get.
Yes.
Well,
Sure.
no, we order the full, what they call full revenue product, which is the regular product that's on the shelf that has no discount. What's forced to us would be this type of product, which would be on top of our normal order, right? So if we ordered 10 cartons of Marlboro Reds, but Philip Morris had us slated to receive 2 cartons of Marlboro Red $1 off, we would get the 10 we ordered of the full price stuff, and then we get the 2 cartons with the discounts on them, right?
Can
So
they be
we,
refused?
Mix.
that's a point of contention. At Cormark, we were always a no, you cannot refuse them, because we now then have to find someone else to sell them to, especially if they're already stamped for Massachusetts. There's a $3 and something stamp on that product now. We can't resell it to another state
Right.
once it's been stamped with a Massachusetts stamp. I've-
So
Hold on, Ms.
Cormark is,
Ms. Hanlon, hold on,
sorry.
continue.
So Joan and I know each other well. She's fantastic. She's great. I have asked Philip Morris not to ship any more product into Massachusetts, and I don't believe they have since after those education packets went out. This invoice was from July for Zed's store. But then ITG, other manufacturers are still pushing stuff out there, and we're having to try to catch it. And since this, Cormark's been better at returning things, but it's still happening out there. Yeah.
And this is where I'm getting hung up on this, is that you're asking, it's being sent, you're not ordering these, they're just being sent
Correct.
to them.
And then we have to refuse it, try to refuse it. Drivers won't do it. Then you have to call customer service and hope they'll do it. They tend to be more forgiving for larger customers than they are for independents.
Now, once you receive this product, is there a manual thing that you have to enter this into? Like, is there another thing that you have to physically know that you have this discounted product that you have been educated on not having? Do you physically have to go into the register and enter that discount before you put it on the rack?
No, because it's UPC driven, and that UPC is, these products are distributed across all states in the country, right?
So you scan.
And in the pricing, the way you set it up in the system is based off the wholesale cost, which in this case is $10 less, right? $1 per pack. So the carton costs $10 less than the normal regular product. So the system applies at retail based on whatever rules you set up. Everyone's different. Like independents may manually enter in, take $1 off, right? Because they paid $1 less. Everyone's different in how they ring up the product for the correct price. But the intention of Marlboro is to sell this for $1 less than your normal price. Otherwise, they wouldn't put $1 off on it and charge you $1 a pack less.
And these coupons are not allowed in Massachusetts.
Coupons, physical, like everyone knew that.
These packs, though,
These
these packs are not allowed to be sold in Massachusetts?
Yeah,
No.
read the coupon law. I don't know.
So-
It doesn't say that in this, like, it doesn't specifically call out the 50 cent and the $1 off packs in the state coupon law.
Ms. Hamlet,
think.
are these
Maybe it's
packs allowed to be sold in Massachusetts with that coupon?
No, they are a violation, and I have on the Route 20 shell, there's a one page in your packet that says couponing, and it's copied directly from the CMR. And people want to apply Webster's dictionary definition of coupon to this. But if you read the definition as it applies in the law, coupon means any card, paper, note, form, statement, ticket, or other communication distributed for commercial promotional purposes to later be surrendered by the bearer to receive an article or accommodation without a charge or at a discount price. So the $1 stamp on the package is your statement, which is saying you get the dollar off. The surrender is when it rings through the register and gets passed on to the customer. The bearer is the customer choosing the $1 off pack, and then they receive a discount. So it's not a coupon that you cut out and you hand, and then I give you the dollar off, because that could capture a QR code, any type of code. You're not allowed to discount your tobacco below regular price in the state of Massachusetts for 1 cent or $10. It does not matter what the discount is. You cannot advertise a discount and pass it on to a customer. But you can change your regularly listed price for the month. You know, I want it to be $11 this month. I want it to be $10 this month. But you can't go have any type of statement sign saying $1 off this pack, but not that pack. And I just wanted to speak, Cormark's not here and they can't testify. We have a strong relationship with Cormark. We talk with their plant manager, their vice president, and mostly Tom Murphy. And Cormark has categorically accepted these and taken them back every single time. So we've had multiple retailers through Cormark. When they've been shipped through Cormark, Cormark takes them back right away. So it isn't forced. And what I want to point out is we did a whole city, or a whole town-wide inspection. We passed out all the education, went over it with all the retailers. You only had 3 in your community that still had coupons. Everybody else removed them, and we had no non-compliance with coupons for the remaining of Auburn. So, you know, I don't know. We didn't educate any of the other retailers any differently than we did with the 3. One of the violators took responsibility and paid the fine because they acknowledged that, yeah, it was the dollar off is a coupon. And I want to let you know what manufacturers did. They used to have the peel off coupon. So it was outside the cellophane. So they just recently started stamping it inside the cellophane. So trying to say it's the manufacturer's promotion opposed to a coupon, but it doesn't matter if it's a promotion, a coupon, a discount, regardless of what you're calling it. It's a discount that was passed on to the consumer through the register, which makes it the retailer in violation of the state law. And we have had a lot of communication, and in his other stores, we didn't find coupon violations. So I don't know why this one had one, but maybe in other stores they didn't, because we do
explain that. So yeah, I did get the notification. We did, in our Nerea locations, remove all of these packs because, to be quite honest, it's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle, right? We don't want these packs to begin with most of the time. Ziyad operates his own store independently from Nerea, so we don't tell him what to do. He definitely doesn't tell us what to do. So that, yes.
And when I
But
call,
my point is, it's such a steep fine for.
And we agree, it is a steep fine. It's awful.
So I thought I read something in here that the suspension was already carried out last week. Did I see that in it was not carried? I thought, where did I see that there was a suspension, like there was a 7-day suspension that was.
So they're paused when there's an appeal. So the dates of the suspension will get reset.
Okay.
So it's on pause because they.
Okay. What? Again, still, I think there are a lot of times where there's a but how did the cigarettes end up on the shelf?
Back in July, he would have put it up probably, right?
yes, when
Yeah.
we receive it, my employee open it, put it in the shelf.
Okay.
And you cannot even see it only when you buy it. To be next to you is far from you to see little letters say $1.50. By the way, when she say, John and her, she say Marlboro Black have coupon, Marlboro Black Short have coupon. No, sometimes 100 have coupon or sometimes Short have not coupon, discount on it. So this is not like, you know what I mean, not all the same. Not like sometimes Short, sometimes high, and you need to put it with a category to match, you know what I mean?
So what drew they were side by side, 2 packs of Marlboro Black 100s. One had a coupon and one did not.
And where were you standing when you saw this?
I was actually at the register looking in the back. Looking
So you weren't behind the counter
I
at
was,
this
I was,
point.
I was actually behind the counter, but
You
you
were behind
can
the
see
counter.
them from, the object is to see the dollar off when you're the customer purchasing the products. So it was very visible.
We don't sell a lot of these. So we got 4 cartons in July. There was still product in the store in January, 40 packs, and so you're not even selling a pack a week of this stuff. You know, it's not like it's some hot thing that everybody's looking for. This was the last time, and I think you're never going to do it again,
No,
right? Like we're done.
absolutely
Like we're not.
No,
We're not here. I mean, I guess we're arguing the law for leniency in this case. We're not arguing the law to try to continue to sell these going forward.
So I guess with this one, having done many of these hearings before, not per se of the coupon, this is my first coupon one. To me, this is difficult. This is difficult because the ones with the age are cut and dry.
Yeah.
Someone went in, they weren't ID'd, they were illegally sold tobacco products. It was easy, cut and dry. There's no gray area there.
I know, I fired him.
To me, there's a lot that I have a tough time. I mean, a couple things. They're sent to him without any choice. They're force shipped. Now you can say, that he should be able to return those, and it happens other places. That's fine. There was education that was provided. Clearly, this isn't a big sale as you just mentioned as well. With it being such a, I don't know, I just, with a 7-day suspension and a $2,000 fine, like, what does the board have as an option here?
I can speak to that.
Can-
I summarized it for you.
Oh, where is that?
It's in the summary, it's in the top page of the summary.
A million. Okay.
So these are very expensive mistakes. Oh,
It says
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Joe,
All right,
if we can,
if you could-
if we can just have 1 minute, we just want to make sure the board has the correct.
Okay, so it's,
just open.
it's a appeal summary sheet.
Okay.
Front page.
And,
Karen, do you see it? Hold on just 1 moment, please.
Yep.
Yep.
On this page. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to say, these are very expensive mistakes, and the purpose of public health is to help people come into compliance, not catch them in non-compliance. That's why we always go the extra mile to give education as much as possible. That's why we have every retailer sign that they receive it. They have our numbers, they can call us. We have retailers that call us every week, say, hey, somebody stopped by and wants me to sell this before I buy it. Can I buy it? We have a very good relationship with our retailers, and we really want them to be successful. Nobody feels good about these violations. They're expensive mistakes. We don't like writing them. We don't like issuing them. But at the end of the day, the education was provided. You have majority of retailers that have removed these coupons and haven't been passing these savings on to their customers, complying. And you also have a retailer, a commercial retailer, that looked at this and paid the violation for it. So I feel like, we have to recommend a responsible finding for the $2,000, as expensive as it is. The reason why is they already have a state violation on their record. Otherwise, this would have been $1,000 like the other two. But we can't help that. The state law, this is what the state law says we have to issue. A break that the board can give is on the permit suspension, because we issue 3, 7, and 30. That's the standard, but the law allows you to reduce it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, so you could reduce it. And boards who have gotten to the second phase, who feels that, it is a lot, it is expensive, but the notices have been there since 2020 that these are the fines for these. The education has been provided every single year that these are the violations you're going to get fined $1,000 to $5,000 for. And we do have manager signatures for both locations and at appeal tonight that they have received these packets with this information. But you can give a break on the permit suspension, and often boards will say, I'm going to reduce it to 3 days and continue the 4 without a finding. If you have another violation in 36 months, you serve the 4, but you can reduce it down to 1 to 6 days as a break. But, the evidence shows that the education was given, and the evidence also shows that the violation occurred. We have multiple retailers complying with that same education, and I'm sure they would have loved to pass on $1 off savings to their coupons. That store might have had a competitive edge because they were offering the $1 off and the other stores weren't. We can't predict the impact of that, and our intention is always to educate and help the retailer first, but when the evidence shows that the violation occurs, we need to move forward with that violation, and we're here, whatever you decide, we'll move forward with that board. And we do provide in-store education if retailers want us to come in and educate their employees as well.
Okay, now, is there any other stores, can the board mandate a permanent sign be placed on premises that absolutely no coupons will be? Because that was talked about earlier, is that if there was a permanent sign on the front door of this place that you affix to it that says, we will not accept any coupons for any tobacco products, we don't have an issue here, correct?
Right. You can do that, and we can take a look at your regulation and upgrade your reg and put it in your reg, or you can adopt it as a motion, as a policy for now. But the problem is people have to understand what the definition of a coupon is. If you just say coupon, people are still going to think I didn't redeem anything. So we would have to, in that sign, craft a sign that clearly says coupon, discount, promotion, and so people can see what it encompasses. But we do have retailers that do put that sign up when they've had something that got sent to them. They don't put it through the register and they put a sign up, and then when they get rid of that inventory, they just make sure that they order inventory that does not have that. But in a forced shipped, there's things you order and then new products get forced shipped. But if there's a state law or a local regulation that prohibits that, the manufacturer does and distributor does take it back. They do take it back.
Sign.
Go ahead.
If we had a sign up, we would still be able to sell these? No.
No.
Okay.
You have a sign that you wouldn't be able to offer the discount.
It would notify customers.
It notifies customers that you can't offer the discount. We would prefer people to get the packaging without the
Joe,
discount, so there's
Sam, hold on.
confusion.
You were saying?
No, they were just asking that, so they could, if with a sign, then they could have a discount. Is that what you were asking?
No. No.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
So my intention for my question was to prevent this happening in the future. Can the store owner permanently affix a sign to their property that says, under no circumstances will any tobacco products be discounted through any coupon usage or anything like that? That way, if you do come in, because I think that would be the best, if I owned a store, that's what I would do. I would put up a sign that upon walking in or at the register or somewhere or in front of all the tobacco, so that even if I had an employee that made a mistake, puts that on the shelf, they take it off, they ring it in, the coupon's there, whoops, but again, the sign nullifies that.
That
We
would
need
be-
to have a state sign. We cannot.
That would still be a
put regular
violation.
sign.
Oh, you can't do your own, okay.
Yeah.
You cannot do your own. You need to have a state, like how she sent us, same what you give us, all the state permit to put it, all this stuff, signs. She gave me a lot of signs to put it for a tobacco, for a cigar, right? And she checked it out. So we need a special one from the state to put it to people believe us.
Okay. I've had a lot, what do board members feel? Like, what are your,
So can there be, because it says a fine and a suspension, can it be either or does it need to be both?
I believe it's both. Joan, can you confirm that?
It has to, you can't reduce the fine, a responsible finding, you can't reduce the fine so the 2,000 stays, but you can reduce the permit suspension, but they have to serve at least 1 day. You can't go less than 1 day. You can reduce it, but you can't eliminate it.
And right now it's 7, correct?
Yes.
It's 7, so you can reduce it down to 1. But if you reduce it, we recommend that you reduce it down to 1 with the remaining 6 continue without a finding. So if there's a third violation, they would have to serve the 6 and then move on to the third violation.
okay.
We're not looking to like
No, this is,
get out of a third, right? Remember?
Yeah.
yeah, but that's, the suspension for the 7 days is for all tobacco products?
Yes. Yes. All
All tobacco and vape products.
and non-tobacco products that have nicotine in it.
So just,
You can even support the store if you lose it.
just 1 day suspension.
What are your thoughts? Yes, you do.
Yeah, if I could just, I
Yeah.
think overall, I think what Joan, as the director, and obviously Jody is literally doing these inspections for us. They know our town. They go into all the licensed establishments. I think the overall intention, obviously, there's a lot of requirements here that have to be followed, but the overall intention is that we're not trying to attract people to buy a product at a discounted price that is harmful to you. So, I mean, obviously, people that are buying those products that smoke and want that product, that's one thing, but I think sometimes overall, like, if you are trying to, I by no means did he sell to a minor, but if you have coupons on products like this that minors are attracted to and they think they're gonna get it for a discounted price, Ziad didn't do that in this.
And
But
know
if
how
you-
many years.
Yeah, but overall, I think the tobacco industry is trying to entice people to buy a product at a discounted price.
Oh, yeah.
So I think looking at it in total, we want the retailers to follow the rules, and that's why we have, these very experienced people handle the tobacco. And I think that when the state law identifies such strong violations and suspensions, it's to get people's attention so that they're not going to continue to do this kind of behavior. So I think the fact that when you look at the bottom of that, the bottom of the violation letter, it's basically identifying what has been done in the previous 36-month period. So, obviously this is coming to the board because Ziad is appealing this decision. You can't reduce the fine.
No.
Joan is clear on that. I think the only thing that you have before you is the ability, if you so choose, for the suspension. So it's important, and that's why it's in the state law, but I think overall, it's trying not to make these products attractive at a discounted price.
So what happens so I see this, I mean, yes, there are things that I think you could have done differently. I think that there could have been a little bit more paid attention to detail.
Honestly, I
There
don't
was-
notice. My employee usually open it, put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question. You go to the store and you teach my employee do not order anything, or not really? You give him a paper and he sign and you leave.
Well, you've been at.
I know, you give it to me long time ago, a couple years ago, I signed it, I read it me and you,
Yes, so
but last time.
are you talking about this one?
Yes,
I wasn't the person who delivered that packet. Are you talking about retail education?
this one, yes.
That I did not, I'm not sure what the inspector did in regard to this one. That was, I did not deliver that.
So
Because I never knew about it till when she told me.
I see a lot of stuff being passed down to the retailer that's somewhat out of their control with it being sent to them. I wish that there was something that could have been reflexively done to the shipper, because they're the ones that are sending this, and we're putting all this pressure on the retailer. Now, in no way I'm gonna propose a motion here in a second, and I wanna be upfront with this. In no way does this minimize the potential severity of this. But hearing Ms. Hamlet and everyone else talking, I'm having trouble with the with the suspension. We can't do anything on the fine. That's clear.
Why?
But I believe that we have purview on the suspension, and we can reduce the suspension. So given that, do any board members have anything else to say before I make a motion? So, yeah, so I'm going to entertain a motion that The permit suspension for the Ziad El Nimmer for TNZ Incorporated Shell located at 310 Washington Street be reduced to 1 day served with 6 suspended. And that's my motion.
And so I would like to make a motion for TNZ at the 310 Washington Street, Route 20 Shell for a 1-day suspension with 6-day in reserve. And the fine has to stand per state law.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Eric Otterson, aye. Carolyn Griffin,
Aye.
Kara Wisterman,
Aye.
motion stands. So it'll be reduced to 1 day with a fine of $2,000. And clearly it happened, right?
Yeah.
There's no going, clearly it happened. We're at step 2.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to step 3. And I think that, they've proven, they've done their due diligence, they've done their education, they've done all their stuff. Again, I just think that there's,
I learned my lesson. She came.
and
Yep.
again, you were here before with the underage sale as well. You know what I mean? It's like, so I think if we tighten things up a little bit, we don't want to get to step 3, because I don't
No.
think, because I will speak for myself. If there is a third violation, there will be no consideration given.
And I just want to say, at the root of the problem is the tobacco manufacturers, right?
And that's what I
Their
think.
Their attorneys are interpreting that state law differently than boards of health in Massachusetts. And that's the root, and I've been working with them to say, look, you need to stop shipping this stuff in to everybody, right? And I know a couple companies have, but that's the root of the problem. They have attorneys, and Cormark too, I mean, they're a public street. And their attorneys say, oh, no, that's legal, ship it. They read that law, that state law needs to be updated to be more clear about these specific dollar amounts.
So Ben, what I'm hearing from the director,
Yes.
Ms. Hamlet, is that there are municipalities that are actively sending back those products. So I think I understand what you're saying, and you certainly can take that up at the state
Yeah.
for changing any amendments to the law, but you do have to be an active participant
Yes.
with the Noria Energy and the stores that you
Yes,
run
I just
to
wanna
make
say,
sure that.
we took all of our dollar off stuff off the shelf.
Sure.
right away.
I get it.
So please work with your
Yeah.
retailers
Yeah.
so that they're actively
Yeah.
in,
And we can.
Selling
only
compliant
like
products.
20 carton. If you order 120 carton a week, I get like
Before you leave, you have to reset the hearing, the 1-day suspension day.
I'm sorry, what did she say?
What, say that again?
Reset the 1 day.
I'm sorry, there was a pause, so I'm not sure, it kind of lagged a little bit, so I'm sorry if I cut
It
in.
was in the motion. The motion is that it'll be a 1 day suspension, which had passed.
Right, but before everybody leaves, you just have to set that date with Jody and the retailer for when the
Oh,
1-day
set the date,
suspension,
okay.
reset the suspension day.
That's not,
I would recommend this Friday, the 21st.
no, come on, not on a Friday.
They're always on a Friday. Every suspension starts on a Friday, but
Sunday.
Okay.
that's up to the board if they want to concede on that.
We've given what I would estimate a very healthy reduction in the suspension.
Absolutely.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
so when is the date?
Friday, March 21st.
Okay, that'll be the date.
got it?
I will.
Everything has to come off the shelf,
No, she
No,
put
just
cover.
cover.
just cover.
Yeah.
She told me.
Okay.
Yes.
Additionally, to Darlene's point, if there are other retailers that are sending these products back, you may want to connect with them and see how they're doing it.
Mine, I threw out everything in the garbage in front of her because when I call the salesman, he cannot take open cartons.
But at that point, if she's there, it's too late.
We gotta
Yeah, I
catch
know.
it, we gotta catch it.
You gotta do more.
I mentioned before.
All right.
It is, it's up to the retailer.
Thank you.
I'd entertain a motion to close the hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to close the hearing.
Is there a second?
Second motion.
And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman?
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin?
Aye.
Eric Otterson, aye. Well, hearing is closed. You have another hearing regarding the same here. It is for 380 Southbridge Street cane shell. Would those parties please present themselves here? Sir, just your name for the record.
Wasim.
I'm sorry?
Wasim.
Listening? All right. And I would entertain a motion to open the hearing for 380 Southbridge Street cane shell. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to open the hearing for Cane Shell, 380 Southbridge Street.
Is there a second?
I second.
And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Eric Artisan, aye. Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
Kara Wisterman.
Aye.
And the hearing is now open. I will now swear everyone in. If you would both raise your right hands. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You've both been sworn in. All right. And would you, I think we'll
So does everyone have the violation in front of them?
This is gonna be part of your packet. There's the written appeal letter, and then the second page is gonna be the violation letter. Yeah.
On January 13th, 2025, an inspection was conducted in Auburn at Cane Shell Inc. And at that time, there was a flavored product on the shelf. There was also a failure to maintain a record of documentation stating that the product was not a flavored product. There was also a violation in regard to the requirement of coupon redemption. And there was also an additional violation or warning for the FDA vape product verification documentation. That was a verbal warning. This is a first violation of $1,000.
Now, I have a question regarding that because I did read your statement of appeal. And I have highlighted that you never got a written notice for that. Is there proof of a written notice for that?
In that instance, in both of these previous inspections, that would be a verbal warning because during the retail education, information was brought regarding those products. So when we see the product on the shelf, this is the first time the retailer is actually being notified of these products that have characterizing flavor not found naturally occurring in tobacco. Therefore, it's a verbal warning. Ask them to remove it, we do a re-inspection, and as long as the products are off the shelf, there would be no violation.
Is there documentation of the verbal warning?
It would be in our post, the post sheet that I don't know if the post sheet was sent, but each inspection comes with a, you can see the post sheet in the violation that I just wrote.
Oh, okay.
So everything is documented in my iPad. This is called the post sheet, and so in the retail education sign sheets that we have, it would have mentioned that. Just see if I can put those up.
So I'm looking at visit number, if this helps you, 11577885 summary. That one is for flavored or flavor enhancers. It was an educational warning, and the merchant was Basheen. Is that you, sir? Okay, so, is that what we're
I would
talking
have
about?
to, it's in this packet, so. Are you talking, could you just tell me the date on the top of that?
April 8th, 2024.
Okay. Yes, I have that right here. Yes, so that would be the verbal warning during that visit.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Please.
How can it be a verbal warning when I don't even know that our product shouldn't be sold? And the inspector comes to our place and tells us to remove it, and we remove it. How can we get a warning?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, I cannot sell this product, and I don't know, I don't have any documentation about it.
Okay.
The inspector comes to the store, and he tells me not to sell this, and I remove it. How can that be a warning? That's an educational.
It's an educational warning.
Right.
So,
It's not a warning. I'm just-
but we're letting you know, we're warning you that this product has characterizing flavor.
Okay.
And so we're giving you the information in our retail education packet that where this product has
I
been
never
deemed.
got.
So you need to let her finish, and then you can respond.
I'm sorry.
So You did. In the retail ed packet FY24 sign sheet, it was you who was the manager, and you were in the store 4/8/24, the time of visit. And it talks about, I actually had your phone number if you,
but
if there are any questions.
I never got the package.
You signed for the package. That's what this retail education packet is. So, you know how this year I came and I gave you that packet?
Yes.
So that's what the FY24 packet was, FY24 information. So I went over the packet with you. So the first page would talk about the different products that we find during the course of the year. So, you know, the blue and the green game, the Dutch Master Fusion line, and last year's packet had information about Backwoods, the white, the black, the smooth, and the bold. And so that was our FY24 educational informational packet.
Information. Okay.
And so when products were found
That's an
on the
information
shelf,
I want.
yes. So, but it's a warning to let you know that if there's any type of revisit and we do find these products, it shows that you've been notified,
That's correct.
and then there would be a subsequent violation at that point on the reinspection. There was a reinspection, and no, the products were gone. The violation, didn't occur. So, because there was no products
But
there,
it's
the
still
product, the
against-
products had been removed.
But that still stood against me. I can still see it right here. The product was not there when they came back. For the second time, because I removed it right away.
Because of
But
the
it's
education,
still- Yes, exactly. And
because
that's
of the conversation.
exactly.
Okay.
But that still stood against me as, additional violations in the past. And there are two of them. One was for the backwood, which was the white. And I still have a letter from the manufacturer which says that I can still sell it. But I'm not going with it. I'm staying with the inspectors.
Okay.
So in regards to that, that's why, yes, some products do have a manufacturer letter. We notify our retailers and let them know that we have found these products to have that characterizing flavor. And so that is why, yes, it might have a manufacturer letter, but then we are notifying you that we've deemed these products to have that flavor. So,
Did you
and-
find it again?
No, I did not.
So why it's still standing against me? That
But it's-
violation is still counted against me. There are two of them. That's why the third violation became a fine.
No, the green, the warnings were just that, they were just warnings. They were education, they were letting you know. You complied. The recent violation of this year, when we found the flavored product, that is your first actual monetary violation.
So does that,
Well, yes, but the thing is, when I talked to you on the phone, you said because you have two previous violations, that's why this one is considered the third one and we're fining you.
No, I don't believe that's, it must have been a miscommunication because when we wrote the order, it was the first violation. That was just to show history.
I can see it. But.
so we're at, so before the board tonight is what is before us for a penalty this evening?
It's a $1,000 fine.
$1,000 fine, okay. For sale underage of a minor, oh no,
Yeah,
for having the flavored tobacco, okay,
products.
okay.
Flavored product and coupon and
Yep.
missing manufacturer letters. So there's 3 state violations, 3 sections of the state law violated in this inspection.
Okay. And so Max, the last hearing, it was a second violation in 36 months. This is a first violation,
Right.
fine of 1,000.
Since 25 years.
No suspension.
Okay. Okay. And you were the party that
I was.
you
I
purchased?
I conducted the inspection.
Board members, anyone?
So the first fine is $1,000, correct? And no
Correct.
suspension.
Correct. For having a flavored product, the first violation, if it's a youth sale, it comes with an automatic 3-day permit. permanent suspensions. The others do not.
Sorry, say that again.
So a sale to a minor has an automatic 3-day permanent
Okay,
suspension.
that's okay.
I just want to point out, it's a flavor violation and a coupon violation, not just one. It's 2 violations of the state law. We could stack the fines, but we don't. If we go into a store one time and find 5 state violations, we don't do 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. We just count it as one and then check off what they were. And then we re-inspect for those. So it's 3 violations of the state law in this one visit for one first violation fine of $1,000, no permit suspension.
So you could have the ability then, if I understand you correctly, you could have dropped this all the way to because of the amount of violations at that one sitting. Do you have the ability to go to the 3rd step right off the gate? Because technically, if there's 3 violations, it's within 33 to 6 months. At the same time, could you have gone
Yeah,
for 36?
For example, if somebody sold a flavored product to a youth, some boards fine $1,000 for the sale to the minor, and then a second violation of $2,000 for the same violation for selling a flavored product, and they stack fines. We contacted your board when you joined us. We did it through email, and we contacted all the boards in the alliance. How do you want to do it? And every board said, do not stack fines. So we have some email back from 2020. I don't remember the board dynamic or makeup, if it went through a meeting or if just the agent had told us, but we don't stack the fines because the goal is to help the retailer come into compliance, and these are expensive mistakes. We provided the information on the 2 warnings before, but this violation stands alone as a first violation of flavor and a first violation of coupon. We already discussed the same points about the coupon apply here. And then on top of it, Game Green, we provided you a copy of Swedish Match's letter. If he had gotten the manufacturer letter from Swedish Match and used it as he was supposed to as a retailer, he would see that that product is not allowed. Mass distributors do not have that on their for sale list, so I'm not sure where it came from, because from Cormark and J. Pollock and all these, Swedish Match says that that's a flavored product, and it's blocked from being ordered by mass distributors. So I don't know where it came from. If somebody dropped by a distributor by a truck, knocked on the door and said, hey, do you want to buy some stuff? If it came from New Hampshire, we can't speak to where that came from. But it's not legally distributed in mass, and it's not even on any ordering site for mass distribution.
And Mr. Body, do you have, I assume after the first hearing that you have a plan now for the whole coupon issue?
Well, okay, I'll address 2 things. The coupon. We were been told that you cannot make your own coupons
Yeah,
by
no.
selling one and buy the second for half or something like that.
Yeah, no,
This was the
I know.
education was given to us.
I understand it was a little confusing, but now that you heard all of.
I've already taken everything out.
Everything's, oh, that's
Okay,
good.
obviously,
Okay.
a lot of retail, actually, it's not the wholesalers, it's the company.
Right.
They don't want to take their product back,
Yeah,
and it still have a lot. And I'm trying to figure it out where to sell it. Like outside the town, outside the state. I don't know. I might end up throwing them away,
yeah.
okay? Because I did talk to ITG, and they said, no, we cannot take it back. Okay? I don't know if there is a.
ITG isn't the manufacturer of Swedish Match. Are you talking about the coupons or the?
No, coupons.
Okay.
I'm talking about the coupons. Marlboro, Philip Morris, and, ITG. Because we do get Winston's also. That's from ITG. So I'm trying to return them, and they've been holding me. They've been like, okay, let me talk to this guy, let me talk to that guy, and see if we can do anything. They haven't done anything. It's been almost a month, maybe a little more than a month. And they're still sitting in the back office. I'm not selling them, but I'm just waiting for these cons to go back. That's one thing. And I got another education from the authorities saying that you can put a marker on the advertisement and sell it as less price, but that should not show on the register. Is that right?
I'm going to have Joan answer that one.
Okay.
Joan?
You said that you had a manufacturer say put a sticker on it and give the discount, but don't put it in the register, so they're advising you to skirt the law and give the discount anyway?
No, not the manufacturer.
I'm confused.
Inspector. Yourself.
So,
Um,
so they can, all right, so what it is they can cover up the dollar off coupon,
Okay.
correct?
That's,
Joan?
yes, they can put a sticker on the dollar off coupon
They can.
because if they can't return it because it's been opened and it's not like a cigarette case that can be returned, because usually if it's on the shelves and it's been opened, the distributors won't take the open back. To sell those ones down, you can put a sticker over the dollar off, so it's not, so the customer can't see the advertising, and you can put a sign on the wall saying, Marlboro dollar off discount is not allowed in Massachusetts. And then you don't give them the discount. You can't still give them the discount. You would still have to charge them the $14 instead of the $13.
It would have to be a set price. Put a sign that says no coupons or discounts.
Yeah, you can't say you're not gonna give the discount, but then still give it.
because when you talk about the retail, when you talk about the retail, if a customer finds a pack with a 50 cents off or $1 off, and you put a mark or a sticker on it, as soon as he's gonna open the pack, he's gonna see that coupon, he's gonna come back to us and complain about it. Or might come to you guys and complain about it. So basically, either ship it back or throw it away.
Or put a sign up that says, Mass law does not allow me to give the discount, so the customer knows when they buy that with the sticker on it and see the 50 cents off later, you had the sign covering you that said you can't give the dollar off.
Okay, if we put a sign from our side, nobody's gonna believe us. They'd be like, he's not from the state.
I mean, multiple retailers have been doing it in other communities, so I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but those are your options: to not sell it, return it, or cover it with a sign, and then don't reorder any more with the dollar off.
We don't reorder, they come automatically.
Yeah.
All you have to do is talk to the manufacturer and tell
But
them,
you can show this violation order and they will take it back. You have a violation order saying you're in violation and we're not allowing you to do that, they will take it back. And
Do you have,
if you get shipped something you're not supposed to have, it's called, in the layman's terms, it's called a mispick. So if you get shipped something you're not allowed to have, you call them up and then you put it in the back room and you keep it sealed and you put a sign on it that says for distribution pickup. And you would never get fined for that. But if you just have it somewhere in your back room or office, the law presumes you're selling it legally or illegally if it's on the premises. So as long as you have it labeled and you've contacted your distributor for a pickup date and you have a note on that sealed box, you can pick it up and you wouldn't be in violation.
okay, so we were talking about mispick. Whenever we get a delivery and we get stuff sent by the manufacturer and we try to return it, the wholesaler will simply say, talk to your manufacturer. It's not sent by me, I cannot take it back, and it happened numerous times. I'm not talking about tobacco, I'm talking about any regular item which comes from the manufacturer as a shipper or as anything. We cannot return it to the supplier or to the, wholesaler. So anyways, I mean, I'll try to figure it out, what to do with it. I'm working on it, and, but information is not right. That information is wrong.
Any board members have any?
No. I just want to know if the flavored tobacco that's not allowed in Massachusetts, if that is gone.
Well, yeah, actually, okay, that's another story. I just don't want to waste you guys' time. So I got a delivery of green sweets, okay? Among them, there was a pack of Simple Green, and I didn't notice it. That's my bad. I totally take responsibility of that. I didn't pay attention that it doesn't say a sweet on it, and I put it on the shelf. I do take responsibility of that thing, that I did not pay attention. There are so many things at the store, I cannot keep an eye on everything. But as for the green, yes, I do take responsibility. My only issue was these two violations which were imposed on me were not violations. And if they were not violations, that $1,000 fine would have been a warning as well. Because it was the first time in last 35 years.
So since we've been bringing education to Auburn, there has always been information about specifically about the blue and the green game.
No, that I agree. I don't have
So
any.
retailers have been educated for many years
yes.
about that specific product.
Exactly, yeah.
So your issue, if I'm understanding you correct, is that you feel as though you didn't receive a warning enough to promulgate a thought to even become to a, because the matter before the board here tonight is a one time. This is your first violation.
That's right.
Okay.
If we had given him fines, you would be looking at a $5,000, if we, instead of giving him those 2 warnings previously that he received, this would be a $5,000 fine and a 30-day suspension instead of a first
Well, I mean,
violation.
okay, if they had told me that from day one, I would have never even appealed it.
It's in all the education packets that's been signed for by his store since 2020.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
If I may. So Joan or Jody, obviously Jody, you're out on the street and you're doing these inspections. I think when Basim came in initially to identify his concerns to us, he understood that he was getting a violation, but he didn't recognize when you or another inspector was there and saying, okay, well, you have this, please get rid of that, take that off the shelf. Can you just, can you speak to when you're out in the field and you're seeing something, your language with the retailer, can you just speak to the fact, hey, is this right here, this product right here, this is a violation, this is going to be a verbal warning. Do you use that kind of language with the retailers? Because I think, at least for this particular situation, I think Basim didn't recognize that those 2 previous, what you call educational warnings, I think he didn't understand that. So can you just speak to when you're out in the field, we're all inspectors, we've all done inspections. We know that our language matters. Can you just identify why it is a warning?
So when I bring in the retail ed packet, the identified products that we found during the course of the year or tested to deem them having the characterizing flavor, that's the first page of the retail education packet that I go over with the manager, the owner. And so it's almost like a checklist. It talks about the blue and the green game first. It talks about the Dutch Master Fusion line. So that would pertain to the FY23 educational warning that's listed in the previous violations. So that would have been the Dutch Master, Blue Dream Fusion, Gold Fusion, Irish, So at that time, I would have asked whom I spoke to at the store to remove the product, let them know that it has the characterizing flavor and that there would be a reinspection. So during the FY23 initial visit and the subsequent reinspection, the product had been removed. Same with FY24, go over the first page of our retail education packet in regard to the flavored products. We talked about the Backwoods White, Black, Smooth, and Bold, and those products on the reinspection had been removed. So that was the education, and warning was given, letting them know that if those products were found again on reinspection, then it would be a violation because the education piece was there.
So when I look at the bottom of this, so I see that there was, so on 2/13 of 23, offering a sale for flavored product, flavor enhancing warning. And then another one was given, so there's 1. So that's a violation.
It's an educational warning.
Okay. But could you have ever considered it a violation?
What happens is that the education is given because these products did have a manufacturer letter. So the retailer has the letter stating by the manufacturer that it's okay to sell. So we're letting them know that there had been some testing on the product, deeming them having the characterizing flavor not found naturally occurring in tobacco, educating them on those products, and then letting them know that if we came back for the reinspection, they needed to be gone or that would be a violation.
Okay.
So that's the educational warning.
And then 4824 was the coupon, and also the flavor was there again.
Right, so that was also an educational warning,
Mhm.
letting them know that those products were not.
And then there was a missing FDA vape product verification documentation. That was
Yes.
another.
Right, so what it is that the only FDA allowed vape
Mhm.
is allowed. So there's a list of products that have actually been approved, these vaping products by the FDA, or have a pre-approved, they're in the pre-approval, or they have the PMTA letters. So if the store has products that are not approved by the FDA or have the pre-approval, we ask the store to remove them.
Okay.
And that's what that is. So that would be another educational warning.
Okay. So we have 1, 2, so 3 educational warnings.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Any board members?
So then the fine that we would be able to proceed with for this particular instance would be $1,000.
Correct. Did you think more was, so your reason for bringing the appeal tonight was what? Was
The reason
was this bottom half here that but, so I understand that you claim that you didn't have notification of all of this stuff building up to tonight?
yes.
Okay.
I've never been notified about anything, and all these, these both violations are actually not violations.
So,
It would have been a violation if they came back to check it and they found the product still on the shelf. It would have been a violation, yes, but no. Because my letter says that I can sell the product, and the inspector comes in and says, hey, you know what? You cannot sell that anymore. Fine, I take it out. That shouldn't be a violation.
well, I think we're getting into the weeds as far as violation versus warning, but education was provided, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And you did say, just by what, this is your signature here?
Yes, I can see the letter.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Yes.
that what I'm seeing, you can see, and you agree that that is your?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is my signatures,
Mhm.
but I don't have the package.
By signing that, what is he signing?
He's received the package.
Okay.
And that, the signature occurs at the end of the inspection.
So just to be clear, Jody, that document is what you are utilizing when you go out to our establishments, for all the establishments that have the privilege of a permit, they are getting education
Correct.
with a physical packet of what you and Joan have provided to us. And then you go over that packet, if you have any questions, and then the retailer has to sign for it.
Yes.
Is there a chance for the retailer to ask any questions regarding,
Oh, absolutely.
okay.
I'm there for however long they need to, answer all questions.
But I would like to have a copy of that letter if you
The
I don't have
FY '25?
I don't know the one I signed for. I don't have it.
There's FY '25, there's FY '24. Each year we bring you a copy. I don't have a copy of FY '24, but I do have FY '25.
Whenever
with
you
me.
can drop it off, so I can
Yep.
at least, cover myself, because I don't have any. of these
Christine, we will
copies.
get you whatever they have provided to us.
Yes.
We will make sure you have a copy.
Please.
So you're asking for the education packet?
Yes. I mean, I do have every information which we spoke about,
Mhm.
but I don't have any information in papers. And as I told you, the coupon redemption, the way they told me, or the way I've been educated, that you cannot make your own coupons.
Right.
Like buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one, you cannot make, or buy 3 packs, or buy 2 packs and get one free. This is what I've been told.
Mhm.
And if you get, and they particularly told me that anything coming from the manufacturer is out of your hand. You cannot control it. This was the educational package or, the conversation.
So I've heard your concern with not receiving the documentation and everything like that. I have heard you with that. However, this, in others' testimony, argues against that.
Exactly.
Where I would agree with you more if they had used those violations or those warnings and you were before us tonight for a stage level 3 here, for a third violation hearing. But you're only before us this evening, and I want to say only, because $1,000 is a lot of money, but you're here tonight for a $1,000 first violation.
I don't even have paying that 1,000. It's not that big of a deal. The only thing is that this is not correct.
Okay.
Okay? I have my reputation more than money.
And listen, and we're not questioning that whatsoever.
Yes.
I'm sure that you've run a good business through town. This is the first time in how many years?
35.
35 years? Is that accurate? Have we not had any?
We've been
I mean, it's a
used since
first
2020.
violation. Okay, 2020. So this is the first violation since 4 years,
Yes.
right? Okay.
And that is, when Basim came in, he had identified that he had not had any violations, which is why Jordan and I had reached out to the tobacco control, because I think maybe the miscommunication is that he does acknowledge, knowing that the inspector has come in, and anything that the inspector says to him, he
That's the
does
final
not,
word.
he absolutely does everything that the inspector asks. There's no pushback on that. He
Never.
completely will follow the rules.
Yeah.
I think the miscommunication, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that I think the wording for please take this off the shelf is not being recognized. You're not thinking that that was a violation.
That's not a violation.
Yeah, right.
But it's also not being held against you
Yeah.
tonight either.
Yeah.
Because if that was being held against you, we'd be at a third and subsequent violation.
Right.
So they're not although it's written, you're only here for the first, so that's not being counted against you,
Right.
okay? Because we're only at a first violation. This is one violation. Even though there's multiple written, we're still only here for one violation. And again, nowhere we are not questioning, business practices or community involvement. None of that is our pure purview. It is just the facts that are before us this evening for that. So, any board members have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to just accept the tobacco violation and have Mr. Body at 380 Washington Street pay the $1,000 fine.
That cannot be considered.
Recommended, second.
We're doing a motion. Could you just repeat the motion? I'm sorry.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion that Mr. Body, the owner of the business King and Shell at 380 Washington, Southbridge Street, excuse me, right when there, be held per the tobacco coalition and pay the $1,000 fine for a first violation.
I
Is
second.
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Eric Artisan, aye. Carolyn Griffin
Aye.
and Kara Westerman.
Aye.
All right. And that's the violation. So we paid $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a one thing. And then if you have their resource for you, if you
Yeah.
have questions,
Exactly.
voice them, talk with them. That'll be and so we don't get into this again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close the hearing for Cane Shell, 380 Southbridge Street.
All those in favor, is there a second? Sorry.
Second motion?
And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Eric Otterson, aye. Kara Wisterman,
Aye.
sorry, Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
I mixed it up, but okay, thank you, hearing's
So
closed.
close.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to open the hearing for the dog hearing at 29 Cedar Street. It is now 6:40 PM. Oh, 7:40 PM, excuse me.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Oh, we need a second first, so
Oh, sorry.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Carol Westerman
Aye.
and Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
Eric Odison, aye. All right. Matter before the board is the Cedar Street dog complaint. Would you, anyone else please come up? Yeah. Sure, yes, yeah, please, sit right here. And just, I need first and last names just for the record.
Christina LaValle.
Yeah, Matthew LaValle.
And Matthew LaValle,
Yep.
okay. And I will swear you both in. You raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. And anyone from the town side who is going to be testifying, Ms. Contois, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, then sworn in. Would you,
We also swear in Tanya, just in case she has anything else to add as assistant animal control.
oh, sure, please. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. You've been sworn in. Ms. Contois, go ahead.
Thank you. We are here tonight for a requested dog hearing. The requesters are Mr. and Mrs. LaValle, Matthew and Christina LaValle. They reside at 27 Cedar Street in town. They are before you tonight with a request regarding a dog residing at 29 Cedar Street, the property directly abutting them. We have some packets for the board with some information that that was sent to us by the complaint incident requesters at the hearing, and additionally some town involvement with the property of 29 Cedar Street. So the town first got involved at the property on November 19th following a dog bite incident where the German Shepherd known as Faith that resides at 29 Cedar Street was able to leave its property, enter the neighboring property of 27 Cedar Street, and bite a child that was riding their bike in the driveway. So the bite did result in 2 breaks of skin on the thigh and the calf, so it was at least a 2-bite incident that occurred. Since that time frame, the dog was quarantined. We've tried enforcement measures with the owners, with the owner of the dog. The dog is not currently licensed in town. They have not been able to provide any additional documentation for the dog. We've been working on this since November. Included in the packet is some enforcement action that the town's taken, including citations. There has been no action on the citations at this point. They do have a due date of, I believe, March 24th, March 24th. So there is some time for those citations to either get paid or appealed before the town would move forward on unpaid citations. Included in your packet is the request by Matthew LaValle regarding the hearing, a brief history that they provided regarding issues with the property of 29 Cedar Street and the dog Faith, beginning on November 19th of the bite and then continuing on since then. Pictures of the bite that occurred on the 19th of November. And then again, just some of the history that the town has had with the property. And I would like to note that the notice of hearing was delivered in hand to the owner of the dog last week on March 12th. So notification was made by certified mail, regular mail, and delivered in hand.
And they are not here or online.
The owner of the dog is not present.
So total fine amount was $100
Correct.
and 3 citations.
$100 for 3 citations.
Yep. We do have pictures of the bite, Mark. We have what you've submitted for us as well. What would you like to say?
So I mean, this is hard for us because we're dog owners as well.
Sure.
Or responsible dog owners. My dog doesn't leave the property without being on leash, but this dog continues to be off leash. I videoed it in my yard after the first incident. You know, and another time I was walking my dog down the driveway, she was outside on leash and was very aggressive at my dog and me walking. And I was able to yell at it and it ran away. When it ran away, it then got near the house and then ran back at me. Again, hair up, you know, looking very aggressive. My fear is that my kids can't go outside right now with this dog. Can't ride their bike up and down their driveway, can't play in the front yard without us being out there with them. A fear of this dog coming over and biting one of them.
How long has this been going on for?
So the dog has never been on leash. Nothing ever happened. We didn't really want to we tried to have a good relationship with our neighbors until the dog bit in November, and then there was a big issue. We were hoping that they would just leash the dog and we could just drop it, and they just are not. The dog's coming on our property. I won't walk down. I go running. I won't run because if that dog's out, I think it's gonna attack me. It's already done it once.
Did you have dialogue with your neighbor regarding this?
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And she said she'll keep.
In person?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And then once the dog was off leash again, I just didn't feel like we've already had the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. Like I don't trust her. I don't trust the dog. I think the dog's dangerous, but the worst part, I think it's a dangerous dog owner. And those combined, I'm afraid one of my kids is gonna get mauled.
Okay. Recommendations?
I do have recommendations that I've prepared for the board. So based on the definition, so again, it's a dog hearing where the board would have the option to either find the complaint invalid and not take any action, deem the dog a nuisance dog, or deem the dog a dangerous dog. Now, the difference between those two, between a nuisance and a dangerous dog, comes down to the definition, which is a state definition. So a nuisance dog, the part regarding a recorded attack or incident. For a nuisance dog, it would be a dog that has threatened or attacked livestock, a domestic animal, or a person, but such threat or attack was not grossly disproportionate reaction under all of the circumstances. And alternatively, a dangerous dog is a dog that either, without justification, attacks a person or domestic animal, causing physical injury or death, or behaves in a manner that a reasonable person would believe poses an unjustified imminent threat of physical injury or death to a person or a domestic or owned animal. Now, based off of the definition and the circumstances surrounding the initial bite and the continued issues with the dog leaving the property, we were provided a video by the LaValleys at 27 Cedar Street of this dog Faith on their property since the initial bite incident in November. So it would be my recommendation to deem Faith, the German Shepherd at 29 Cedar Street, owned by Justine LaValle, as a dangerous dog with the following order. That Faith shall be humanely restrained by leash or lead, provided Faith shall not be chained, tethered, or otherwise tied to an inanimate object, including but not limited to a tree post or building. And second, when removed from the premises of the owner or the premises of the person keeping the dog, that Faith shall be securely and humanely muzzled and restrained with a chain or a tethering device having a minimum tensile strength of 300 pounds and not exceeding 3 feet in length. And that the owner or keeper of Faith shall provide to the licensing authority and the animal control officer information by which Faith may be permanently identified by microchip implantation. And just to clarify, without an existing order, we don't have any way to enforce that Faith remain leashed on property.
Mm-hmm.
So our current bylaws restraint only applies to when the dog leaves the property. So if Faith is allowed off leash within her own property, there's no fencing and no way to keep her contained. So it's not a violation from the town's bylaws until she takes the step off of the property.
So this deeming as a dangerous dog, it's still, I mean, she would have to be restrained on their property
She'd-
at all times.
She'd have to be restrained at all times.
And then what happens if not?
If not, she'd be in violation of the order. And then we would most likely be back at the board or further action through court.
Okay. Now, you brought your son to urgent care.
Yeah.
He underwent rabies vaccinations. Was there any
No,
proof
they,
of?
so the dog wasn't up to date on its rabies vaccine. They found that out. Originally, they were going to do the rabies vaccination series, which is a terrible vaccination series to give, especially to a child. So they contacted the Board of Health. Yeah, so when we were at urgent care, we were there for hours, so they could get them on the phone to review the whole case, the history of the dog. And they advised, the risk was so low, being a domestic dog, with no signs, that it was just a quarantine and to watch the dog, and hold off on the rabies vaccine series.
I can offer a little bit more information
Sure.
on
Yeah.
that.
Did the dog go on to go our
Yes.
quarantine?
Yes,
Oh,
so
okay.
anytime there's a bite or a scratch that breaks skin, it initiates a 10-day quarantine process. So as long as the animal can be observed for that time period, then we know that there's no chance that that animal possibly transmitted the rabies virus to the person that was bitten or scratched. Because the dog was available for quarantine, that process did happen. We had a conversation about it too, and risks that always come with any sort of animal bite. We always advise people, if you have any questions, contact the state epidemiology program. And that's the measure that they took to make sure to get medical assessment that they were comfortable with.
Okay. So when you went to the house, they willingly handed the dog over for a 10-day quarantine?
It's a quarantine at home.
Oh, it's a quarantine at home?
Yep.
And do you visit the dog every day?
So not every day. We visit on the initial day when the order is issued, and then we return at the end of the quarantine period to essentially sign off that the animal is alive and well and not showing any symptoms of rabies. It's a state standard to issue the quarantine at home unless there's extenuating circumstances. In this case, we didn't, the initial interaction that we had, it was the first time interaction or complaint with the dog owner, so we followed the same process we always did, and we weren't notified of any potential concerns or violations through the quarantine process.
Okay. All right. Do any board members have any questions?
Just a weird question, just weird coincidence that you guys have the same last
No,
name.
no relation.
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh, just, or I should say unfortunate coincidence.
Do we have the ability to have the owner of the dog provide proof of rabies? It says unable to provide proof.
So through our conversations with her, the owner stated that the dog had received vaccines as a puppy. She wasn't able to provide any of those records to us any of the times that we've been at the property, which has been several times. And to note, the dog is around 3 or 4 years old. So any vaccines it might have had as a puppy would no longer be valid at this point.
Can we require them to provide proof of that, or I don't know if
That's what we have done through the citations.
Okay, thank you.
And they need to register, license the dog, right? It's an unlicensed dog.
Yes,
Okay.
and the licensing can't happen until the dog is rabies vaccinated.
Right.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
I have and they have until the 21st of March to.
So
approve it?
March 24th is the time
24th,
period
okay.
for the citations that have already been issued. So when a ticket's written, you have 21 days to act on the ticket,
Okay.
to either appeal it, pay it, or if no action's taken, then it moves through the court process.
Okay.
Hearing the recommendations from the dog officer, do you have any concerns with that?
No, I mean, I think it sounds great. I don't trust.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't come today. The dog bit and it's still off leash going into our yard. I don't know what to do if she doesn't abide by what you're saying. I mean, I hope she does and this is over, but that's my fear.
And I would say if the board does vote on an order, on a determination for the dog, and if there are any concerns or potential violations of the order, please report it to us right away, so it gives us the ability to act on it. Without any determination or order present, there's nothing to say that she can't have her dog unleashed on the property. So this gives the town some authority that if that's happening, we can act.
Okay.
Because up until this point, we can't take any action other than education to the owner, which we've tried, citations, which we've tried. So this is the next step in the
Okay,
process.
so if we see that, if this all passes and we see the dog off leash, even on its own property, call you? If this.
Depending on
if this-
what the
right.
board votes on
Okay.
for an order,
Okay.
if a determination is made.
Any board members have any concerns, questions?
No.
No, fine. I would entertain a motion then to deem, to go forward with the dog officer's recommendation as written in the letter. And also, should I also add in there, or does we already have, as far as the dog has to be licensed, they have to pay the fines? Should I add that in, or is there enough teeth in the regulation already to have that?
Sure, thank you. It was not included in the order because it's already a requirement by state law and town bylaws.
Okay. So that's gonna have to happen no matter what?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right, so then, just to restate, I would entertain a motion on the recommendation of the dog, of the animal control officer's recommendation as written in her pamphlet provided to the board, this evening. Is there a second? Well, actually, yes, but does anyone?
I'll make a motion to deem Faith from 29 Cedar Street as a dangerous dog and to put in place the recommendations of the dangerous dog as recommended by our dog officer.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Kara Westerman,
Aye.
Carolyn Griffin,
Aye.
Eric Otterson, aye.
So now the order's in place.
Now the order is in place.
Thank you.
Okay? And I would entertain a motion to adjourn the hearing.
Second.
I will make a motion to adjourn the hearing of the dog hearing of 29
Oh,
Cedar
sorry, the
Street.
dog hearing, I thought you meant
And is there a second?
Second that.
Second, I said.
And all those in favor of closing the hearing, Kara Westerman,
Aye.
Eric Otterson, aye. Carolyn Griffin.
Aye.
Excellent. Hearing is closed. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, goodbye.
Thank you.
All right. Next up,
Is-
can we take number 9? Can we take the gentleman from Ty and Bond?
Yeah.
We have the proposed body work.
Yeah.
Can we do the Mr. Tahir is on here,
Yeah.
Diane Bond is on here. Can we take that next?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let me apologize for the length of this evening. You've been to our Board of Health meetings before. They're usually quite abbreviated. But this evening, we've had quite a heavy agenda, so my apologies for that. And we have Dr. Tahir on here as well, and we have David Murphy from Ty and Bond as well. So this isn't a hearing, this is more of an update on what's happening. So please, whoever wants to discuss.
I don't know if Darlene wants to give any update on the town side. We have, there's a few different things, I guess. We had a warrant we were trying to get signatures
Okay.
for getting in front of the town council. So the last time since we were here, no additional permits have been issued. We have a land disturbance permit with the DPW we responded to some comments. And that's gone in. We're hoping that that's going to be wrapped up in early April. The other thing that's happened since we were here is we had what's called a Phase 2 comprehensive site assessment, Phase 3 remedial evaluation report. That's a Massachusetts contingency plan submittal. That is what we've sort of told Darlene to focus on for third-party review from Sanborn Head, because there were other submittals earlier that were sort of partially Phase 2 and some discussion on Phase 3 remedial evaluation. So we've gotten to that point. So we're in compliance relative to what's needed to reach that Phase 3 under the MCP. The other things, we reached out to Mass DEP since that submittal, just to get their feedback. You don't need that, it's a privatized program, but we've always been with them or in front of them throughout the process. Prior to even starting the process, we got in front of them, just to know that this was coming down the pipe. And I think that's probably the main stuff that's changed. And Darlene can maybe speak to why it was pushed that we came again right now, because right now we have, and one of the, actually, did the check come from, did that arrive today from Said, Dr. Said? Oh, okay. He couldn't make it tonight because I know he's gonna maybe pay the whole, although they may revise it, the third-party review of our report. It's like, I'm a licensed site professional, so it'd be another licensed site professional for Sanborn Head. But beyond that, I wasn't quite sure what the push was from, was it the town manager, or Dave may be able to speak to that, as far as why they were looking for us to come quickly again and be thrown on this agenda.
Okay, so you were requested to come here.
I'd be,
Hi, David, go ahead.
yes. This is David Murphy. My video is not on. I'm David Murphy, principal at Time Bond. When I go, the interim town manager, she requested us to come and insist that we be here tonight, with the understanding that the desire is to be and fully permitted, if possible, by the town meeting on the 6th of May. So if anything would be helpful for the board to hear from us tonight, or any questions that we can answer to try to help expedite your review and your understanding of the project, that's kind of what we're here. And again, it's just to emphasize what Todd has said. The Conservation Commission, the Zoning Board, and the Planning Board have all fully approved the project. DPW with the disturbance permit we're on the heels of getting that. The Board of Health would be the final permit, and then town meeting vote would be the last. We requested to be before the selectmen with just an informal discussion with them, so they're prepared before we go before the town meeting vote. Hopefully will occur the second week of April, if I'm not mistaken, from your manager.
So what is still pending on our end?
Sure. Thank you very much, and thank you to Todd and David for the updates. So since the beginning of the project, obviously Todd and the team did an introduction back in November. Kind of more formalized in details came at the December meeting. And at that time, we had discussed with the board and Dr. Said about the wanting to kind of get this project going. Obviously, there's two main areas of focus. It is a proposed cemetery, which does require Board of Health approval under Mass General Law. And for this particular site, there's also an unpermitted landfill that was discovered after the owner had purchased the property. So for the unpermitted landfill, Todd, as a licensed site professional, and Ty and Bond, have worked on the mass contingency plan.
Instead of the solid waste requirements, we fall under the MCP instead of the solid waste regulations, yeah.
So since December, they have been working towards getting progress, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not representing it exactly correct. They have been working towards getting progress made on the MCP area for this site. And so the MCP would be focused on the landfill requirements. We touched base in January because we had sent out the town's consultant plan review quote for the review of this project. And so that was in early January. I think it was maybe mid-January. I had spoken with David, and he had informed me at that time that he was gathering some more information, and that Ty and Bond would be providing some more information to DEP, and it would be an update of some sort for phase 2, phase 3, which
Yeah.
which may have changed the plan review quote. So there was a concern at the December meeting and through subsequent discussion that the quote was a concern. And so that notification was made in January to me. And then at the end of February, there was the notification from Ty and Bond that they had submitted more information to DEP. They also sent a formal notification. I had reached out to our consultant to let them know this update, and we had made contact. And this past Monday, Ty and Bond had reached out and said, what do we need to get going on the project, because we want to get on town meeting. And so the town's consultant hasn't started the review formally because we have not received the check to start and pay our consultant to get started. However, I know that they have been in contact with Ty and Bond for at least asking some initial questions. So at this point, it's my understanding that Dr. Saeed is sending a check to get our consultant started. And they have requested a citizen's petition. Request has gone to the select board's office to get on for the Maytown meeting. So formally, the actual review hasn't started. And there's going to be, I'm sure, some questions back and forth, but hopefully with the information that Todd Curtin and his team have provided to DEP, that may make the review go a little bit quicker. But that is, that's where we stand. I think at the next.
If I
Sure.
Go ahead.
If I could, yeah, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Just two other little points of detail. We learned Wednesday, we didn't know this previous, that Dr. Saeed, not being a resident of town, was not qualified to actually bring a petition before town meeting. So on Wednesday afternoon, we learned of a request to get the signatures in by 1 o'clock on Friday. So we kind of went all hands on deck to get those signatures in. They've been submitted. I think at least 10 were certified. The other point, just for clarification, is that we had submitted a 50% payment for the plans. That was discussions with the town manager that she, in an effort to expedite the review and possibly speed it up, she suggested that Dr. Saeed submit the full pay, which is coming in the second. That's momentarily to arrive.
So you should have, this is Sayed Tahir, you should have received one check today, which is March 17th. And the second one I sent today, actually I was going to bring it myself, but I got stuck in the hospital and could not drive over. So it's going to be going by the end of the week. You should have the second one. Our hope is to go through the entire approval process from different town boards before we go to the town meeting. That just will make our application stronger, will probably bring more trust among the town residents if we have permits from all the departments. And that was my request, if we can sort of put it on for public hearing, contingent upon positive review from the third-party reviewer for the Board of Health for next month.
So our hope, this is David again, our hope is that we work quickly with Sanborn Head to give them the time they need to do the third-party review, but then respond to any and all questions, come before the board, have that discussion about their comments and our responses to their comments. And then I believe a public hearing is required before you can issue your approval. Hopefully contingent you're satisfied with your third-party review.
So you are correct, a public hearing is required by the Board of Health, and that would need to be done. And Dr. Said, I appreciate the update, but just if you have sent something, we did not receive any mailing or check today. So you may want to just circle back with your provider. So we don't have anything here at the town. So officially, the review has not started.
So hearing all the process, and I think that is a lofty agenda to try to get on before the May town meeting. Has anyone thought is fall town meeting? Like, what would be the concern with that?
Well, the backup is that we could go before the town meeting with a vote for approval contingent upon the final Board of Health approval.
Yeah.
So the one other thing I just want to jump in on the MCP side, the remedy that we chose, and I think I mentioned it probably the two other times I was here, is that really there's only two options for the most part. Take it all out or cap it. We could start the capping without a cemetery. So we have the ability to get going. There's nothing, unless Mass DEP had an issue, and that's like do an audit and or just because we're trying to be open with them, but more that's the only way that really can stop. I think Dr. Say's not looking to start importing stuff and doing stuff that's beyond the typical cap to raise the grades. Where the cemetery thing doesn't work, then we're in a little bit of a jam there, because the design is for the cemetery. So we have all the bells and whistles relative to stormwater control, everything else, and there's a pretty sizable rise in grade in the center of the site for that. So just on the MCP side, we can start. Once I do have to, there's the next submittal under the MCP is what's called the Phase 4 Remedy Implementation Plan. RIP is the acronym always used. So we're looking to get that in soon. Just so that's another thing. But the Phase 3 is an evaluation of the remedial alternatives, and it's leading towards that. What we're looking for Mass DEP to also be involved with is the volume of soil that we need to bring in and the type. It's unregulated soil, looking to raise the grades. So we're just trying to get a little buy-in on that part from them, but we could just so if that ever happened, and I think the other thing is the summer months are when you generate a lot of soil. So if we waited till the fall, we may miss some opportunity for some soil to come in from projects that happen during the summer months and then going into the latter part of fall into the winter.
Okay. Is there a timeline on what, I mean, they haven't even started their third-party review. What is the timeline for that?
I don't know, but I have not heard from Sanborn Head myself. I don't know if Dave knows someone from Sanborn that he's maybe touched base. They haven't reached out to me, and I understand that they're not under contract yet with the town. But if we can do anything to speed it up, we're here. That's what I'm saying as far as, and I know we're consultants, we know how backed up a lot of people are. It's crazy how busy everything is at times. So it's a matter of hopefully they have the jump, but nobody can force that. But if there is those kind of questions, we're hoping to respond quickly. And I think the last time we were here, we were hoping to have some sort of initial dialogue once they're under contract with the town, to maybe explain some things so they know what they're reviewing prior to starting. And so we're all on the same page. That's what we're hoping. We were even hoping somehow, some way that we could even have someone there here tonight, but we knew they weren't under contract, and that's unfortunate. That's a lot to ask of someone to respond that quickly. But that's what we're looking for, is to try to whatever we can do to help facilitate on this side to get that through. And maybe it's an open and shut case for them. It's not the stormwater report, all the other stuff, all the drainage, everything that goes into that, it's gone through between the Board of Health, planning board approval, site plan approval. The zoning board's a little less on that front. Now we're going land disturbance permit. There's so many layers to get through that. So really it's just a matter of, on the MCP side that Darlene had concerns about, because it's a little different. And then you have the cemetery, but we're hopefully we could address those questions pretty quickly and they can see that all the other stuff has been taken care of.
Can we don't have to come back and meet prior, like we can, once the money comes in, Sanborn can start, right?
Absolutely,
And
yes.
I'm just trying not to, because sometimes it can be tough with a quorum for the board. I don't want that to hold up this at all. This can be dealt with by you guys without us, correct? Until
Yes.
we need final approval and vote and stuff.
So for for the town's consultant, I've already had many conversations and tried to give them an update as soon as like we understood that you were gonna like focus on getting the MCP progress done. I let our consultant know that. Then, the development that you wanted to go to town meeting, I've been in touch with the consultant for that, provided that update. And I think that they are ready to move forward. It's just obviously we don't, for the town, to have them go ahead and start the plan review when the town would be responsible for paying them. And if, the applicant decides that they don't want to move forward with this, it's a liability for the town. So we absolutely.
I'm so sorry interrupting you,
Just
darling.
one second,
I just checked my.
just finish.
Sure, sorry.
So we obviously want to move this as fast as possible as well. I think that the getting through having Ty and Bond consultant, their LSP, Mr. Curtin, speak with our consultant, our town consultant's LSP. I think ultimately having those two professionals speak to each other, they speak the same language, they'll know what the requirements are, and then for his next step to move towards phase 4, whatever the acronym is, we want to make all that happen, but I think that there has to be some time for them to go back and forth. If they're able to move everything through and address all the comments, and for the Board of Health to address any concerns for the actual cemetery part of it, because again, there's 2 lanes. There's the landfill lane and the cemetery lane. Get through those comments. We can get all of that, then we can bring that back to the board, provide an update to you, and ultimately, we need to have a public hearing where we take input from the public on this proposed cemetery on Cemetery Road. I think that realistically, that may take 2 meetings, but that really is, it's
When is town meeting? May 5th?
May 6th.
May
the first,
6th.
Yeah, the first Tuesday in May. So, obviously the board meets once a month. You would potentially, you could potentially meet twice in April, but obviously that's a tight schedule for everybody, because we're not just coordinating, you all. It's making sure that everything is there. To Mr. Murphy's point about going to town meeting, I think he had identified that he would like to have town meetings approval contingent upon the Board of Health. So the Board of Health would still go through the process that we are doing, but I think that is, there's a lot of deadlines here. But they have, I am aware that they did submit the citizens petition for the warrant. So I do know that that is with the select board, and then I think the next step is going to town council. So that process is definitely moving forward for their request, and we will do everything that we can to expedite this once we can contract with our consultant.
On the cemetery part, that's one thing the MCP doesn't. Yeah, there's nothing in there
Yes.
in my language for the MCP piece. So is there anything else that you need from us or Dr. Saeed? I know we talked the last time we were here about the plots and the burial. Is there more written? I don't know where that stands.
So again, not having officially done started the review, but there are, what has been submitted has been helpful. And it's a matter of going through the process of I think initially the paperwork that it was 2,000 graves, but I think from Dr. Saeed's update from last time, I think that's going to be stacked too high. So there ultimately, it's a proposed cemetery for 4,000 bodies.
And I forget, so Sam Burnet's earlier quote included the cemetery use as well. They're not just looking at MCP, former dump being addressed through the MCP process, but they're also looking at the cemetery use.
They're focused on the landfill portion of it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so you have somebody else that was looking, yeah, that's
So,
right.
yeah, so the health department will be,
Okay. Yep,
will
I'm sorry.
clarify the cemetery requirements.
Yep.
And ultimately, while you're here, because as part of your MCP, there's all sorts of well testing. That is obviously a concern of making sure that the wells that are within the vicinity of that proposed cemetery and landfill are addressed.
Yeah, the monitoring wells will be reinstalled on the downgrading side right by the road. Yes, because that's really where you're capturing everything. When I say downgrading, it's a steep hill, as you probably know, but just where groundwater, if there's anything relative that gets into the groundwater, that's where you're going to capture anything that's maybe showing up.
And there's, to my knowledge, 2 private wells in the area, one on the Auburn side and one on the Leicester side.
Yep.
And those have been tested as well?
Not the one in Leicester, they didn't let us in.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But you have a documented refusal on that?
But not documented, we just, we sent the letter. It's been part of the MCP submittal. We had attached that, because that was a condition relative to the finding in one groundwater well in the center of the site, our site. And then we've knocked a couple times, we called, but nobody comes. Their well is, we do have the well log for that. Online, you can find that. And that's about 300 something feet below grade in bedrock. So I have my last submittal to Mass DEP said I don't have concerns because that's cross gradient. Again, this will make things flow. It's to the side, we all flow, everything flows to the east at the side. I know we have nothing up in front of us. Down the hill towards Cemetery Road, they're cross gradient, they're north in Leicester. So we don't have, and we have a monitoring well that's right by their property and the property line. And the contaminants that we found in groundwater are concerned at the center of our site are not in that well. So that's a good indicator that you don't have any further issues going towards to the north. And same to the south. We have one on the border of the southern property, but we were able to access the 20 Cemetery Road owner allowed us in, and we sampled as well, and there was not anything.
Okay, so the private well that is in Auburn.
Yes.
That's abutting this property, you don't have any concerns for?
And we have data to even support that even further.
And they allowed you to test?
Yep.
So those are the, obviously the surrounding areas for private well that I think that you want to make sure that's documented.
May I say something? I just wanted to give you an update. I just checked my bank online and it says paid the check on today's date. So if you have not received today, you'll probably get it tomorrow. $6,500 check.
Thank you, Dr. Saeed. We'll watch for it tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Any board members have any questions? No? I think we're in it. Like, we're coming up on a deadline here, so as fast as we can get this to go would be advantageous, but.
So does the board, I can give you an update, kind of where we're at. I mean, typically we meet once a month in April. I don't know, I can't say what kind of concerns are gonna come up because I don't have that information. But we would want to have that public hearing, regardless if that's in April or if it's in May. I understand the team wants our approval, or, decision, before then, but
I mean, I don't want to rush and have missteps. So, I mean,
I'll go with your recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to, really, it's just a matter of getting Sanborn Head started. If they, I mean, you could have a phone call with them tomorrow and they'd be like, yeah, we'll start reviewing. There's our answer, you know? We don't know, hopefully not.
Yeah.
But it's all contingent on the money arriving to them and them starting. So I think if we get a good semblance from them, maybe within, if it's Monday, maybe this week, if you're able to talk to them and be like, oh yeah, you know what, we can turn this around pretty quick. Well, then we can talk as a board and maybe we can do a quick meeting and then move along for a public hearing. I mean, I'm willing to do that. I mean, we've been at this now for quite a while.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money and a lot of steps, and there's been surprises to these folks along the line too. So if we can do anything to certainly expedite, this, I'm for it. So I think that if we can get some sort of a test on what they're looking, if they're like absolutely not, there's absolutely no way that this is going to be able to happen, there's our answer. If they say no, we can do it, and then let's go that route. Because really, that's what we need now.
They're saying, yeah.
We need them. So as soon as they are done, they meet, then we do public hearing, and then see what we can do.
So we could potentially have 2 meetings in.
In April, yeah, and I would just put it at one as a limited agenda.
Sure.
For just that, if we're able to get it. But again, I think that question is going to be answered as soon as you talk to them. If you talk to them, be like, yeah, no way, then we're done.
Yep. That's all we can ask.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
One more thing I was going to say, Darlene, is it possible that town treasurer has already cashed the check? Can someone check it tomorrow if it was deposited? Just to be on safe, since everything is contingent upon check, and at my end it says that it was cashed today.
I'm sorry, Dr. Said, I didn't understand. You're saying that you're showing that was cashed today by the town of Auburn?
It says paid on,
Yes.
on the online, my bank, I just checked it account. So I don't know, what does that mean? Is that paid means was delivered or cashed? So if someone can check, was it really deposited by the treasurer of the town and it was not brought to your attention? That's the only thing I'm requesting.
Was it made as an electronic payment?
No, it's basically a check that comes from the bank. I don't write it. So it's not an ACH or direct deposit. It's still a paper check, but it comes from the bank.
So, Dr. Said, I can tell you just for my department, I can tell you I'm the one that sees all the mail. I review everything. And we have not received a check today. We didn't receive a delivery. Often we do get, FedEx or deliveries that come. I did not see a delivery today, but certainly that doesn't mean that maybe it didn't go and get signed for by another department in the town. I just know that we don't have anything in our department, but I appreciate your update, and we will certainly look for it tomorrow, and I'll make sure my staff is able to connect with other town departments within town hall.
No, Dr. Said, just as a clarification, did you mailed a paper check, or was this sent electronically as an electronic funds transfer?
Right. So the way it's done is that I do it electronically, but the bank sends it on my behalf, but it comes through mail.
Oh. Okay. I mean, that could be.
And it's very accurate. So I guess by tomorrow we will have some answer.
Yes.
And I'm going to
mailed
be
it
sending
today
it.
and wrote it today, and it goes by mail.
It was early last week.
Oh, it was early last week. Okay, so maybe.
The bank
Okay.
told us it was gonna be the 17th that it came.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we will definitely, look for it, and hopefully it's just, it's just an error delay on what you're seeing, but I can tell you that we don't have it in our department, but I will make sure either myself or one of my staff will reach out to you when we do get it.
Okay. And I'll be sending second installment. There will be handwritten check so that it can get to you sooner, tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's just get it's gonna be pretty quick. Let's get a meeting quick, and then if not, then,
I mean, I have all the confidence in the world in our consultant, and they've been very responsive to me up to this point. So, we want them to connect with Ty and Bond and do whatever we need to do to move it forward.
all right.
Appreciate it.
That okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Again, thank you for your patience tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
So-
You warned me, so you knew it was gonna be a long show.
I'm sorry,
No,
this
no
was
surprises.
this was a long one.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Thank
You too.
You too.
If the proposed bodywork thing could be abbreviated, we're
I can give an update. So
Sure.
we are reviewing other neighboring towns that have a bodyworks regulation. We're consolidating what we like and coming up with our own regulations. So we're narrowing that down and should have something to a draft to you hopefully by the next meeting.
Perfect, thank you. Solid waste and recycling townwide cleanup day is on May 3rd, and we also have a yard waste schedule. When is that?
Yeah,
That is,
so the yard waste schedule, that's gonna be the spring pickups, so that's curbside. We are just waiting to confirm with Casella. We have a proposed schedule, so we'll be putting that out on social media and cable access and all the usual places. We'll have that probably on the electronic board as well. So anytime, sometime this week.
Gotcha. And communicable diseases?
Nope.
We don't,
nope,
nothing?
no.
Okay, and then, obviously, we have the free COVID test available at town buildings, and we have an introduction.
Yes, we do. So I would like to introduce Katrina Williams. She is brand new to our department, and we are thrilled to have her. Has it been 3 weeks? 3 weeks. So she is. We haven't scared her away yet, so that's a good thing. And she's already made all of the operations in the office easier on a whole bunch of fronts, so.
Perfect, awesome. Well,
Welcome.
thanks and welcome.
Yeah.
All right. If nobody has anything else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor, Carol Westerman?
Aye.
And Carolyn Griffin?
Aye.
And Eric Goddison, aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.